Identify the vertex, focus, axis of symmetry, and directrix of this guy right here. Then I have to sketch the graph. All right, I have a y that's not squared and an x inside of a parentheses that is squared, which tells me it is a parabola. Now, what is all this other stuff? Well, if I were to draw just some random parabola right there, focus lives inside the curved part of the parabola. That's the focus. The vertex is the minimum or maximum, and then equally distant is going to be a flat line called the directrix. Okay? Now I'm going to have to draw all this stuff out at some point. Not quite yet. Let's just focus on one thing at a time and finding stuff out. The x part is squared. There are parabolas where the y part is squared, so make sure when you're looking for the formula that you compare this to, you use the right one. This is the standard form of a parabola where the x part is the one that's squared. X minus h in parentheses squared is going to equal 4p, and if you're like, p, what does that stand for? You'll find out. Y minus k. I need to make that look like that. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to flip things. Let's just completely flip everything. We've got negative x plus 3 squared. I'm actually going to keep, now I'm going to still flip it. Minus 1 is going to equal to y. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to get all the y stuff on the right side. So let's add 1. So negative x plus 3 squared. Let's add 1 to both sides. So now I have y plus 1. Let's throw a parentheses around that just for funsies. And let's multiply both sides by a negative. So what we have is x plus 3 squared equals negative. And I'll put negative 1 even though I don't need to. I'm multiplying everything by a negative. There you have it. Now I can compare that to that. It's important to know that I have to find what? The vertex, the focus, and the axis of symmetry, and the directrix. Okay, well, the vertex is going to be HK. So the vertex in this case is going to be h. Now, negative h is positive 3 here, which means positive h is negative 3. So h is negative 3. K, similarly, positive 1 is negative k. So positive k is going to be negative 1. Okay, that's my vertex. Let's get a different color. My focus is found by taking h and then k plus p. You might be thinking, what's p? I still have to figure that out. In front of the parentheses here, I have 4p, and this is negative 1. So comparing this to this, I'm going to let 4p equal negative 1. So if I divide both sides by 4, p is negative 1/4. So my focus is h, and I already know that my h is negative 3. K plus p is going to be negative 1 plus negative 1/4, so negative 1 1/4. All right, so what I have so far, and let's circle things out, is my vertex is there. My focus is there. My axis of symmetry is going to be a vertical line that cuts through the vertex. So my axis of symmetry, since it's going to be a vertical line, is going to be x equals. Well, if it cuts through the vertex, then x equals right there, negative 3. So that is my axis of symmetry. Last but not least, my directrix is going to be a horizontal equation given to us by y equals k minus p. K was negative 1. P is negative 1/4. So to round things out, y equals negative 1 minus negative 1/4 is the same as negative 1 plus 1/4 which is going to be negative 3/4. Now I know I'm going to do a terrible job drawing this out. Okay, I'm going to do a terrible job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the picture that I'm supposed to have. Did it work? Did it work? I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked. Let's try it again. Copy, paste, and it didn't work. All right, let's try it this way. Let's try copying it like this. This makes for very good podcasting. All right, I captured it. Let's go back over here. There we go. All right. So, why is it upside down? Because this is negative. That's thing number one. Okay, let's label this picture a little bit. My vertex is -3, -1. So my vertex, my vertex does live right there. Okay, my directrix right here is y equals -3/. So it's like a little dashed line, like kind of like right there. Whereas my focus is -3, -1.25 lives right there. Okay, so we can kind of see everything falling into place. My axis of symmetry is x equals -3. So there's my vertical line that goes through -3. So we can see everything there. Directrix, axis of symmetry, focus right there, vertex right there. So everything lives where it should be. And if you're wondering, well, how can I get points to make a graph? Just plug random points in. If you know what your vertex is and it's -3, -1, then plug in -2 and see what y value you get. Plug in -1 and see what y value you get. And whatever you start graphing over here, the same exact thing is going to happen over here because this acts as a mirror image. So graphing parabolas when they're in this standard form is never fun, but we did it, and I had a great time. Parabolas.